Continuing from before, the finals of the Tianyun Grand Tournament held in Tamdao reached a decisive moment. Jiang Shun, after fully unleashing his power and transforming into the war god, soared into the sky, heading straight towards Hu Tiandao. Hu Tiandao also leapt forward to meet him, swinging the sword in his hand, a sharp light like death slicing through the air. Jiang Shun immediately launched his ultimate move, the prison-suppressing human blade. A fierce slash descended, the move called the prison-suppressing earth blade, causing the ground around Hu Tiandao to shatter even though he managed to dodge in time. A flash of surprise crossed his mind. He read my move. Hu Tiandao hurriedly raised his sword to block the strike, but the sword energy still tore through his defense, piercing straight into his body, causing him to cry out in pain. Ouch! Not giving his opponent a moment to breathe, Jiang Shun continued with a flurry of sword strikes, unleashing the prison-suppressing heaven blade, forcing Hu Tiandao into absolute defense. Fear stirred in his heart. This guy never stops. A powerful slash like thunder struck, knocking Hu Tiandao flying far away. His body fell straight into the fiery abyss, a pitiful scream echoing. Ouch! Jiang Shun stood on the rocky cliff, his cold gaze following Hu Tiandao's figure sinking deeper into the lava sea, while a painful scream rang in his ears. Jiang Shun patiently observed, waiting to see if his opponent had any tricks left unrevealed. But when no sign appeared, he muttered softly, his eyes showing clear contempt. Suddenly, from the depths of the lava, a gigantic apparition surged up, the soul of Hu Tiandao appearing in the form of an old man with white hair, soaring into the sky, angrily shouting, "Shameless brat, too arrogant." Jiang Shun looked up, his gaze grave as he saw the opponent's soul pressing down, thinking to himself, the divine soul has withdrawn completely. Meanwhile, Hu Tiandao said coldly, even if I am no longer hidden, as long as I can kill you, I can still atone for my mistakes. Jiang Shun tightened his grip on the sword, silently thinking, this divine soul has nearly reached the 9th transformation. To take my life, you really have put in a lot of effort. Hu Tiandao swung his hand to summon a pitch-black saber full of demonic energy, his eyes blazing with murderous intent as he stared fixedly at Jiang Shun, shouting, take this, mad saber demon shadow. A black aura and a vortex suddenly appeared right in front of Jiang Shun's chest, pinning his entire body down so he could not move. He immediately sensed something was wrong, thinking, he has locked down my vital energy. Seizing the opportunity, Hu Tiandao's whole body radiated death energy as he instantly charged forward to deliver a critical strike, shouting loudly, die! Jiang Shun struggled to dodge, but the opponent's attack suddenly transformed into 9 dragons roaring, crashing down where they charged and shattering the ground. He frowned, thinking, there's a hidden follow-up move inside. This is dangerous. Even though he anticipated the vital energy, he couldn't evade in time because the saber's energy was too fast. Jiang Shun stepped back, gripping the sword hilt tightly, sweat dripping from his forehead. The war god transformation was about to end, only one gamble left. He channeled his strength along the sword, unleashing the imprisonment seal, Great Dao's blade. Immediately charging forward, launching several strikes that made the 9 dragons all scream in pain simultaneously. Hu Tiandao gritted his teeth, his eyes blazing red with fury, roaring, you brat, how dare you? Yes, the 9 dragons blocked in front. Jiang Shun's attack could not directly harm Hu Tiandao. He laughed triumphantly, his eyes clearly showing a provocative smugness. Jiang Shun gritted his teeth, silently calculating, only 1 or 2 moves left. This is bad. I must come up with a decisive strike before time runs out. At that moment, in Jiang Shun's mind, Xiao Chan was sitting leisurely on a Shujia branch, smiling and saying, sir, your war god of the heavenly battlefield has a technique called the Supreme Soldier Form. Whether it's the 9-Shi obstruction or the red armored elephant swarm, they are all soldiers under your command. Jiang Shun scratched his gold and silver hair, as if realizing something, nodding in response. You mean, I understand now. Hu Tiandao took the opportunity to launch another strike, continuing to perform the Mad Blade Demon Shadow to lock Jiang Shun down, leaving him no chance to counterattack. However, Jiang Shun quickly thrust his sword to break the energy flow. Cutting off the energy flow first is done. Using one move twice is too naive, old man. Jiang Shun immediately stepped back, his hand gathering a blazing red fire force, his eyes shining with intense killing intent, unleashing the imprisonment seal, heavenly armor concentration. Q Long rushed forward, colliding with Jiang Shun's suppression strike, causing the surrounding space to echo with a fierce shock. He shouted loudly, take my move! In his subconscious, Xiao Jia heard his father's voice and focused all his energy, channeling it directly into Jiang Shun. His serious eyes blazed. Yes, father. At the same time, he couldn't help but worry about Xiao Zhou's reminder. If you can't block it, the big sister will eat you. Keep trying. Keep trying. This strike caused Q Long to collapse once again. Suddenly, Jiang Shun shouted loudly, get away from me now, which startled Xiao Jia. But immediately after, he continued, Xiao Jia, well done, calming him down. With no obstacles left, Jiang Shun immediately leapt up and unleashed the prison suppression move, the heavenly tyrant fist, striking straight at Hu Tiandao. He was shocked to see Q Long broken so easily. Just as Jiang Shun closed in, Hu Tiandao screamed in horror. What? A punch like a thunderbolt struck Hu Tiandao's face, distorting it. He screamed, ouch, as fear surged within him. How can this kid be so strong? Not giving him time to recover, Jiang Shun continued to charge, his whole body gathering power like a falling meteor, delivering his final move, the Supreme Soldier Transformation. Hu Tiandao screamed in terror. It's over. The force, like a sacred dragon twisting, shot straight into his soul. Jiang Shun roared. Explode, shatter and destroy for me. The extremely hot destructive strike burned his soul, causing Hu Tiandao to writhe and roar in pain. Ugh! In his dying moments, Hu Tiandao screamed miserably. You little bastard, you can't kill me. Jiang Shun sneered provocatively. What about this series of strikes? Without hesitation, he continuously hammered his fists into Hu Tiandao's soul form, causing screams that sounded like being torn apart. UAA, he coldly taunted. Can't take it anymore? Your divine soul is weakening bit by bit. While throwing punches relentlessly, the power within Jiang Shun's body suddenly vanished. He glanced at his fist and hissed softly, humph. Before him, Hu Tiandao's soul was nearly destroyed, but Jiang Shun had reached his final limit. His hair turned black again, and the war god state was officially lifted. Jiang Shun gritted his teeth, looking at Hu Tiandao who wore a mocking smile, panting heavily. Huff, huff, damn it, that was close. Hu Tiandao seemed to see the light at the end of the tunnel and laughed joyfully, thinking to himself, this brat has exhausted his spiritual power. He laughed loudly at Jiang Shun and hoarsely said, cough cough, even if I can't kill you, I can still wear you out until you die. He concentrated his strength into his hand, lowering it to crush Jiang Shun, his mouth full of arrogance. Cough, cough, this time you will definitely die. Jiang Shun knelt on the ground, his eyes helpless. Damn it, is everything ending here? At that moment, Xiao Chan manifested as a cicada, lightly landing on his shoulder and calling out, Master! Jiang Shun turned his head, surprised to see her suddenly appear. With her consciousness, Xiao Chan conversed with him from afar, though her body was still sitting on a branch of Shujia. She smiled and said, Sir, it seems Shujia's afternoon nap has been disturbed by him. Hearing this, Jiang Shun softly uttered, Shujia. Right after his words, from the dense foliage, a green cicada slowly flew out. The cicada gently left the branch, gliding through layers of leaves, and shot straight toward the battlefield. Immediately, Hu Tiandao felt his entire body being torn apart, screaming miserably, Yoaa. His soul was forcefully sucked into the center of Jiang Shun's forehead. He coldly watched him gradually vanish and thought to himself, his divine soul has been completely absorbed by me. An interface frame appeared before his eyes. The heavenly battle god Batian evolved into the trial heavenly battle god. The next notification clearly displayed, unbeatable divine fist, battle god transformation, supreme soldier form, power increased by 30%. Jiang Shun focused intently on the displayed lines, silently thinking, my heavenly battle god Batian has finally evolved. Before, breaking the third transition wasn't even like this. Could it be that Shujia absorbing the residual soul helped me? He wiped the sweat from his forehead and sighed in relief. If Shujia has this ability, wouldn't it have been better to act sooner? The large screen simultaneously displayed the words, Spirit ranking, Rank 1, Jiang Shun, Great Summer, Clearance, 32 minutes 17 seconds. Rank 2, Wu Ta, Tamdao Overseas, slaying the 6 generals, up to the 6th general. The entire arena seemed to explode. The crowd cheered wildly. Victory! Jiang Shun has won. That shameless Sea King couldn't even beat our treasure despite cheating. Mom loves you, Jiang Shun, forever. After the competition ended, Jiang Shun stepped out from the space gate and stood on the grandstand. Hearing the thunderous cheers, he somewhat understood his achievement, then rubbed his head and smiled awkwardly at Master Gu Kaitian. Master, it seems my disciple's ranking isn't too bad, right? Gu Kaitian beamed and applauded. Not bad at all. You are the top of the entire school. Nearby, Ji Hanzhen looked at Jiang Shun, sighed in relief, and laughed heartily. That kid almost scared Master to death. Was this match tough? Quickly let me see if you're injured. Kulinko and Yenzun were leisurely enjoying tea. Upon seeing Jiang Shun return, Kulinko chuckled softly. Haha, senior, I didn't expect Jiang Shun to come back alive. What a pity. A peak 8 transformation soul. Witnessing Jiang Shun's safe return, Yenzun felt as if his heart was on fire, rage surging. Facing Kulinko's taunts, a deadly aura immediately spread around him, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. He slammed his fist on the table. Though outwardly silent, his heart was filled with extreme hatred, silently cursing Hu Tiandao as worthless and deserving of death. At that moment, Yuan Wuya, who had just finished his match at Tamdao, returned and approached, bowing as he called out, Master! Hearing the call, Yenzun turned his head and glanced over. It turned out to be Yuan Wuya. Immediately after, Yuan Wuya knelt before his master, respectfully yet confidently reporting, Master, Your disciple Yuan Wuya was fortunate not to disappoint expectations and has secured the top position. Yen Zun, whose face was already purple with anger, grew even darker upon hearing this. His eyes bloodshot and wide, breathing heavily with rage to the point of being speechless, only able to glare at Yuan Wuya as if ready to explode. The mountain isn't enough. Now you want to drag me down to the sea too? Kalinko couldn't help but burst out laughing upon hearing this. Puffed. Really? Then he looked at Yuan Wuya, his smile bright like a blooming flower. Ha ha ha. Confidence is good. But at least you should have glanced at the leaderboard first. If you didn't check the board, you should at least listen to who's cheering. Yuan Wuya was bowing his head at that moment. Hearing this, he looked up in confusion. Then he looked toward the screen. On the board, the words were clearly displayed. Void God ranking, rank 1, Jiang Shen, Great Xia, completion time 32 minutes 17 seconds. Rank 2, Yuan Wuya, Tam Dao Overseas, time 32 minutes 27 seconds 85. Seeing this, Yuan Wuya couldn't believe his eyes and shouted loudly. What? Am I not the top person? The top name was clear. Yuan Wuya was so furious that blood burst from his mouth, and he spat out a mouthful of sweet red syrup. Puffed. He quickly wiped the blood from his cheek and shouted, Jiang Shan! Yen Zun was like a ticking time bomb at this moment, leaving the tea table in a fit of anger. As he passed by Yuan Wuya and saw his furious, almost spitting blood expression, he frowned and coldly reminded him, Wuya, keep calm. There is still the second round of hunting in the secret realm. Yuan Wuya quickly wiped the corner of his mouth and nodded in response. Yes. But when he saw Jiang Shun happily chatting with Gu Kaitian and Kahong in the distance, a fire ignited inside him. A fire of anger and jealousy that wanted to burn the opponent. How dare he compete for his top position and still smile? His mind kept repeating the name Jiang Shun, his eyes full of tears, his face twisted as if haunted by a curse. Kill him! Kill him! I must kill him. As long as Jiang Shun dies, everything will return to its rightful place.